Okay. Hello everyone. We're live. It's it's been a week. How's everybody doing? I have been hard at work the last little while. Um but yeah, it's been an interesting time. I've got a video in the works looking at CachyOS. I gave you all a small preview of that last week during stream. Also threw up a Linux Mint video, which has been kind of cool. Let's take a look at some of this. I've got a lot of like really positive updates going on. I also want to hear from all of you. How are things going? The few of you who show up as soon as stream begins. Let's try this. There we go. Boom. Okay. So we've got some cool stuff going on. I don't know how many people are actually here because my analytics have just stopped. Look at this. Concurrent viewers, no idea. So I don't know who's here, but hello, friends. How's my audio also? Um, for those of you here, how am I sounding? My audio looks good in OBS. I'm only clipping when I start kind of yelling. You can see I was also trying to figure out what the heck is wrong with my OBS settings because I get this keyframe frequency. Like, what the heck is going on with that? Hey, Plus, how you doing? I'm a bit distracted today, watching the stream while preparing a meal in the kitchen. Oh, cool. What are you cooking? Um, but yeah, let's chat about a few things. Let's do some updates. I'd love to hear from you all as well. On my end, one, we're live, as you're well aware. I dropped a video on switching to Linux with Linux Mint. Oh, we're getting ads. I don't get ad revenue for if you see an ad while watching my YouTube video. That's kind of some BS. My stream, rather. Um, but I threw this video up and it's doing pretty well. It's kind of cool. I was excited about this because it used my new setup. For those of you who haven't seen, hold on, let me move the icy hot out of the way because I'm 27 years old and my back hurts. I my dad always complained about his back when I was a kid, and my whole life I just kept hearing about bad backs. And as a kid, your back never hurts ever. Now mine does, and I get it a little bit, just a little. Um, okay, hold on. Let's grab this guy. So showing off the test bench a little bit. Let's see if we can pull this out. We've got this going on, and that's what I tested Linux Mint on. Ah, that's what I tested Linux Mint on. This little N100 mini PC. Um, Loin steak with pepper cream sauce and mashed potatoes. That sounds phenomenal. Now I want that. So far, I've had a pre-prepared burrito from the grocery store. Not even like a burrito place. And two coffees. That's what I've had today. We'll see how much of the stream that manages to get me through. All right. Dad says, finally got chat open. Your audio is perfect. Excellent. But yeah, anyways, did this Linux Mint install tutorial and sort of considerations for if you want to switch from Windows to Linux, especially because the Windows 10 end of life stuff is coming up. And people, okay, I have a short rant. People keep telling me in my Linux videos where I complain about Windows. They're like, well, why don't you just use LTSC edition? Windows LTSC edition, that will get you done. Hey, Ray, how's it going? They're like, just use this. It's supported until 2032, and you'll be good to go. What? What? Why? Windows Enterprise LTSC? Do you think that this satisfies the same needs as Windows Home? First off, from everything I've heard, you have to buy this as an enterprise, right? You buy licenses in like large packages for IoT devices, right? That's like kiosks and things like that, right? Like, what? How does this satisfy the needs of a Windows 10 home user? And what Windows 10 home user is going to go to themselves, hey, yeah, I'd totally seek out the Enterprise LTSC edition. I think that will probably solve my needs. Like, no! Linux is an alternative that is less complicated than this. And this also comes with a much stripped down set of drivers because it's designed for like kiosks. Like, this is not designed to run your home computer. So no, Windows Enterprise LTSC Edition is not a solution. Hold on. Is not a solution for your home PC like Linux is. I got into a couple of conversations about this, and I was confused. I was confused by by a vocal minority of people. But otherwise, this video is doing really well. I'm really happy about it, and it was a really fun exploration of some new technologies I've got in the lab. Apparently this is a lab now. KDE Linux is coming. Like wait, hold on. Don't they have like a full-on KDE spin? Just like yes, exactly. Nice. Very cool. So yeah, Windows Enterprise LTSC, I don't know about all that. This video, however, I got to test out this new setup. So first off, you can tell by the camera quality, and we can do this. I've got my Fujifilm X-T20 pointed at my face, and the video quality is just so much better than my webcam. I'm really enjoying having that as part of the video making process. I also, like, as I'm making videos, I do this thing where I'll be looking at the webcam, talking about, the contents of the video, and then OBS is open, and I'll just like flick my eyes down at my own face, like back at me as it's recording. And then in the video, you can see my eyes are not pointed at you, the viewer, right? And it just kind of like, I don't know if the viewers notice. I don't know if you guys notice when you watch my videos. Let me know. But I notice it as I watch my videos back. I'm like, ooh, that looks weird. It looks like I'm reading a script. And however, I'm obviously not reading a script because nobody would write the nonsense that comes out of my mouth. So, hey, Parkerman, how's it going? I really do think that Fedora is better than Mint for beginners. That's a fair assessment. I played around with Fedora just barely. I had a stint about 6 months on Fedora. I think I did a semester. I don't know. It doesn't come pre-installed with some of the codecs, and it's not as helpful in installing those codecs, which makes like video playback on browsers not work well unless you know how to go get those codecs and then load them up. And that was really one of my big drawbacks. Other than that, I'm just more comfortable on either an Arch system or a Debian-based system. I'm more comfortable with Pacman and apt. I never spent the time to get comfortable with the Red Hat stuff. And ever since Red Hat was kind of weird about CentOS recently, I've just been steering clear of everything Red Hat does. That's probably not a fair thing to do. But when you have a limited amount of time to decide on what you're going to use and experiment and learn with, Red Hat has kind of shown me that maybe they're not as trustworthy as they used to be after their acquisition by Big Blue. So that's kind of where I'm at. But yeah, Fedora is doing some really cool stuff with their Atomic desktops. And I think this sort of like Flatpak centric world is a viable future for a lot of things Linux desktop. So I am interested in them. It's just not my personal preference. And then the last thing is when we're talking about pure beginners, because Ubuntu is like everything beginner Linux on forums and stuff, it is easier to search solutions to your problems when you're using an Ubuntu-based desktop. And so I kind of like, that's kind of what I'm thinking. But I do think Fedora is a great choice. So no knock there. More of a KDE girl. Fair enough. What else we got? Each stream is better. Thanks. I love Fedora KDE. and I've never had any codec problems. Well, to be fair, my experience with Fedora was in like 2018. It's been a long time. So it's probably improved. My understanding at the time was this was like an open source thing. They're not willing to include, or their value statement keeps them from including certain things in the distribution. And so you have to explicitly go install like non-free stuff, much like Debian does with non-free firmware. But that may have changed, or the codecs, or maybe there's open source versions of the codecs now. Who knows? But that's really cool. And for absolute beginner, Pop! OS is good, I think. Yes, Pop! OS is fantastic. I loved Pop! OS back in like 2020 to 2022. I think, especially when like Pop Shell came out. But I have been waiting on Cosmic DE for like 3 years now. And so when Cosmic DE comes out and they update Pop! OS to like 2604, hopefully, that's when I would be like, Pop! OS is a great choice. Like, this is my first choice now. But yeah. Usually, if you search the web for an Ubuntu problem, you find a lot of people with the same problem, not always a solution. It's a bit like a self-help group. That's fair. And yeah, I hear that about GNOME. I like GNOME personally, but I'm also fairly like agnostic about these things. I like KDE, I like GNOME, I like XFCE. I've been enjoying Cinnamon. It's all kind of fun to me. Thanks to you, I started using NeoVim with LazyVim. It's simple and clean, but I need to learn everything. That's awesome. Wow. I'm so glad that you found LazyVim from me. That's really cool. I've been really enjoying it. I think I've got it on this system. Wow. It's cool to have impact, you know? When somebody says like, "Hey, thanks to you I did this thing." I'm like, "Wow, really? Me?" Have fun. So that's cool. All right. So let's do some sneak peek stuff. Let's jump back over here. Yeah, there we go. So I want to show off. How can I show this off? I guess I can show you all OBS as I grab. This is going to do some infinity mirror stuff. We'll see if it's tolerable. And where do I have space? We can throw you all on the fourth workspace. And then let's go test bench 2. Like, you always talk about Vim, and when I've seen that you use it for Markdown and everything, I really need to learn how to use Markdown in Vim and just be able to use VI. Yeah, I mean, Vim it's super fun. Like, it's just really enjoyable to use, in my opinion. Oh, wait, I got the wrong thing here. Let's try camera, test desktop. That's not what we want at all. We want this guy. There we go. Okay. I'm really considering NeoVim 2 because of your videos. Really? Switching from VI to Vim feels like yesterday. I find it's funny because like I use Vim a lot, clearly, right? I find it really difficult to use VI because there are features in Vim that I consider to be like the baseline of Vim that aren't present in VI. And so I always find myself installing Vim on new installations of Debian because it doesn't actually come with with Vim by default. It comes with VI. That's one thing I haven't ever conquered. But yeah. Yeah, NeoVim and Markdown. I got roasted. I got roasted in one of my recent YouTube shorts about because I made a video, a little short about Markdown files and note taking and things like that. And this guy just sort of started raging at me about how unusable it is. I'm like, whoa, dude, if Vim is not for you, that's fine. That's okay. I use VI every day, since often the system doesn't have Vim, Nano, or anything else. Yeah, that makes sense. The arrow keys in Vim are a great thing. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't been exposed to too many systems without Vim, or that I didn't have the permissions to install Vim on. I can get by in VI because, you know, the basics are still there. But there are things where I'm like, wait, why didn't my hands do the thing, you know? I'm using Markdown with NeoVim for college. That's super cool. That's what I did towards the end of my degree. I was using VimWiki actually for a long time and taking all my notes that way. That was super fun. Docker shell. Okay, yeah, great point. If you're in like Alpine Linux or something like that, which is often the base of your Docker image and container, then yeah, you're in VI, and often also just shell, not bash either. Okay, I want to do BusyBox VI is pretty common for appliances and embedded systems. Yes, Alpine, BusyBox, stuff like that. Agreed. All right, I want to do a quick showing off of what I'm hoping to make tomorrow, or I'll be recording tomorrow. Saturday will be when the video comes out if nothing goes wrong. I've been working on this guy, which is CashieOS's handheld gaming mode. So right now we're in the KDE handheld desktop thing, but I'm going to jump over to gaming mode. This is on one of those N100 mini PCs. What is your main shell? I either bash or ZSH, either one. I don't mess with fish. Hello? There we go. I don't use fish. I know it's a really common choice. I don't use fish because fish, there are a lot of bashisms that don't work in fish. And I want as much transferable understanding and skill as possible. So if I'm on my command line, right, I want that to work like writing a bash script. And so I use bash or ZSH because ZSH is close enough in my opinion, but fish is a large departure. Okay, so check this out. This is really cool. This N100 mini PC, right, which is really common in Homelabs for like serving jellyfin and stuff because the integrated GPU is enough to decode HD video and all of that jazz. I wanted to know if it was good enough for gaming. Like, obviously, we're not talking about Doom Eternal, HDR, 4K gaming. We're talking about like indie gaming and emulators. I haven't gotten to emulators yet. We'll see about that. But Hollow Knight Silksong runs at like 45 frames per second. It's not bad. So you can play like little indie titles on this thing, and it's pretty great. Danny says, no fish on customer servers. I keep it simple, local, so I can work on all other systems. Yes, exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's exactly why. Because if I get used to fish on my machine, then I won't be able to, or I'll get tripped up elsewhere, right? And I just don't want that. Anyways, this is a little sneak peek about the little video I'm going to make, something about $100 Linux gaming console, right? The idea being you can just put it at your TV, do indie games and emulator stuff with a controller and move about. But check this out. It's moving, it's working pretty well. I'm pretty happy. Like for these kind of indie games. And I think Hollow Knight's really big right now, so people are interested in this kind of thing. It's pretty cool. I'm really excited about these Linux gaming consoles that are being like headed off by the Steam Deck. I think it's a really cool concept. If I had, an extra $3,000 or something, I'd build myself another gaming PC with like Bazite or CashieOS or something like that for my TV. I don't have $3,000 to spare, but one day. Should try Gen 6 emulation. What generation is Gen 6? What generation is Gen 6? Oh, wow, 16 viewers. Hey, everyone. How's it going? Let's drop this back over here. Nope, back over here. PS2, GameCube, and Xbox. Yeah, I can definitely see. So, GameCube, I can see working. I would be pretty surprised if the PS2 works. But I'm also not really aware of what kind of hardware was in those machines. I will be trying GameCube. I'm really excited about that. I think GameCube and possibly the Wii may be possible. Same reason why I don't use a Dvorak keyboard. Maybe might be a bit more efficient at my computer and I'd be far slower anywhere else. Yes, yeah, exactly that, right? Like I was considering Dvorak and I was going pretty deep into all sorts of customizations and things like that when I was in undergrad. And you know, it was coming around. I was interested in it, but especially once I started home labbing, but I was also consistently just like nuking my laptops and distro hopping. I didn't want to have to bring that much config with me every time I was on another system. And so, yeah, like working with defaults has become my habit. And it's working pretty well so far. Okay, what else we got? Dreamcast. What is Dreamcast? What is Dreamcast? Let's do this. Is the final home video game console. Oh, okay. Manufactured by Sega. I really thought that they were going to say the final home video game console, period. Because, I don't know, that just sounds like funny marketing, and it sounds like something somebody would say. Oh, very cool. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about what we're actually here to do today. Oh, one last thing. I'm on Blue Sky now. Oh, we got a new follower. Let's go. I'm on Blue Sky. If you don't count the Triforce, this is a little bit before me. I'm on Blue Sky. This is like a Twitter clone, and I'm really just using it to promote my newsletter. Another thing, if you're new here, I started a newsletter about 2 weeks ago that basically summarizes what we did on the stream and things like that. If you're interested in that sort of thing, feel free to take a look, nathanlaundry.substack.com. It is growing, which is really cool to see. So thanks, everybody. Yeah, those are my announcements. I'm on Blue Sky. Newsletter's going along. And yeah, all that. Also, sneak peek on the video. So there's summaries for today. The Sega PC. Let's get down to business and remember what the heck we were up to. Let's do this real quick. There we go. So I'm going to throw that there. I'm going to do this. There we go. Hey, Max, how's it going? Hello, greetings. I like that. Let's talk about what we did last week. Recover? So, Homelab, Kubernetes, day 3. Ah, yes. So, day 3, upgrading to app templates and ArgoCD. We did not get around to ArgoCD. Day 4, trying ArgoCD install again. Okay. Omarchi, nice. Thanks. Yeah, I'm a huge Omarchi fan. I made 2 videos on this, just as a quick aside. Most of this stream, by the way, is quick asides. I work for maybe an hour of these 2-hour streams. Most of it is just catching up with you all, because you guys are a lot more fun to talk to than it is to do a bunch of Kubernetes work. But yeah, 2 Omarchi videos. I'm a huge fan. One of my favorite flexes of all time at this point is the following. DHH commented on my video. DHH commented on my video, dude? Okay, anyways. So, what did we do? We tried ArgoCD stuff. Last week was mostly getting these manifests working. So I think in projects, Kubernetes, yeah. So if we go to apps, let's actually just pop back here and then do a little NeoVim stuff. So we worked on this manifest, which is 160 lines. But we were trying to get AdGuard Home up and running. Really dissing Kubernetes like that. Nah, you guys are just a lot of fun to be honest. Like it's a really quite a blast being on stream. I look forward to it all week now. Sometimes I think about streaming more, and then I realize that I'm going to burn out if all I do is YouTube and stream and have a full-time job and try not to be a crappy boyfriend, you know? Anyways, so we were working on this, and we made significant progress. We killed these probes because they were killing my Kubernetes, my containers, my pods. And we finally got AdGuard Home running, which is here. You'll note that we have no DNS queries yet. That's because I have not redirected my my main router over to AdGuard Home for DNS. This is the gesture for redirecting, apparently. I'm pretty sure that's like screw you in some languages. So maybe I should work on my gestures. But I haven't done that yet. I want my Kubernetes stuff to be a little bit more stable before I'm willing to make that jump. So yeah, still working on that. I also Anyways, so let's continue on. We did this and then we started. This was like 2.5 hours of hard work. And we finally figured it out. I also learned a lot about Ingress and load balancers and some basics of networking, which are kind of a weak point for me. And so it was a great stream from a learning standpoint. But it was a little slow to watch, I imagine. Anyways, so what we're going to do today is take another crack at ArgoCD. Oh, that's another thing we did. We tried to get ArgoCD's web page, the web UI, to work through traffic. And for the life of us, we just could not do it. Now, to be fair, we had just spent 2.5 hours or so getting AdGuard Home working with that manifest, and I was exhausted. So I've kind of learned that I can do about one good piece of work per stream. I get like 2 hours to solve a problem, and then I am out of juice. So I probably won't try to solve more stuff in this one stream today. I will try to get ArgoCD up and not push it, you know? So what do we have so far? Well, I know we've got some attempt at getting the ArgoCD web UI up and running. I think that's over here. We didn't disable the SSL TLS redirects in ArgoCD, causing the problem behind the Ingress traffic. What would I do without Plus, man? What would I do? This guy. Okay, we didn't disable the SSL TLS redirects in ArgoCD, causing the problems behind the Ingress traffic. So here's the problem. Sometimes Plus knows what to do, and he says what to do. And then I, being me and uninformed, still don't know what that means. I have an understanding to some degree, right? So we know that our entry point is web secure, which is 443, which is HTTPS. And I also know that we're only opening port 80 here. So that could be one of the problems. They describe it in the docs for ArgoCD plus traffic. Now, luckily, another thing that Plus handed to me was the traffic version 3 documentation for ArgoCD. So I think we will start here today. Basically trying to get the web UI for ArgoCD up and running, remembering what we were up to last week, and then we'll take it from there. Yeah, I think that's the plan. So we're going to start going through this documentation. Before we dive into all of that, any questions about what ArgoCD is? Who here is new to the stream, interested in participating, maybe doesn't know what's going on? I want to be fully honest, disclaimer with all of you. I don't know what I'm doing. that's kind of the stream. The stream is less so, here's an expert who is teaching you how to do a thing, and more so, here's somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, and we can learn together. So yeah, feel free to ask the dumbest questions possible because I will ask dumber ones soon. When traffic requests its backend using HTTP, ArgoCD thinks it's a good idea to upgrade by sending a redirect to HTTPS. Ah, okay. I understand. So basically, I think I've got this in my hosts file right now. So if I do a little, let's do a little sp for split, and we're gonna go etc hosts. You'll see I've got ArgoCD over here in my hosts file already, right? Now that's not, I assume that's not going to work, right? Well, I don't need to assume it. I know it doesn't work because we tried it last week and it didn't work. Launcher.mat, right? Now this must be for it redirecting. So we're gonna have to take a look at that. Elite Grizzly. I have no idea what is going on, but no need to explain. I'll pick up things here and there. Still find it entertaining. Well, thank you. Don't worry. I have no idea what's going on either. Danny, it's used for GitOps. I also need to learn it. Automated deployment seems nice. Just push your changes to a Git repo and the apps running in Kates get updated. Exactly, yeah. So I work as a research engineer at a very cool company. I don't know if I'm allowed to say. I mean, I'm sure I'm allowed to say because it's on my LinkedIn. You can all see, right? But I don't want to associate the stream with them and then get in trouble and all that jazz. I do, however, know that Kubernetes is a big deal, and ArgoCD is one of the tools that, we're looking at using and stuff like that. So I want to learn. I think Kubernetes is super cool. I have a lot of fun messing with it, and I like GitOps, right? Like it just seems to make sense for me. Here's a bunch of I view these YAML files as like essentially infrastructure as code type stuff. Why wouldn't we GitOps that? Anyways. So, ArgoCD, we're trying to hit port 80. We're getting redirected. We need to figure out how to fix that. And so we're going to work on that. Traffic version 3. Traffic can be used as an edge router and provide TLS termination within the same deployment. It currently has an advantage over Nginx in that it can terminate both TCP and HTTP connections on the same port, meaning you do not require multiple hosts or paths. See, now this is something I don't fully understand. By the way, we do use a little bit of AI to help us learn sometimes. So I don't copy paste things. That's a rule in this. But sometimes I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to Google properly. And I will ask chat to explain things to me like this. What exactly would that mean? That would be a Googleable or a chat GPT-able thing. And so you'll see us use that if you have like a strong disagreement with the use of LLMs, fair enough. The API server should be run with TLS disabled. Edit the ArgoCD server deployment to add the -- insecure flag to the ArgoCD server command or set server.insecure. I don't copy paste, but my Homelab is set up with help from GPT-5. Yeah, same here. Last stream was a lot of writing out by hand what ChatGPT had written so that I would be forced to read it and understand what's happening. And I think we learned a lot that way. So I think there's a good middle ground to be found. Flag in the ArgoCMD param CM config map as described here. Okay, we're not hosting via AWS, but that would be useful. That would be useful for my job. Okay. Edit the ArgoCD server deployment to add the insecure flag to the ArgoCD server command or set server.insecure to true in the ArgoCMD param CM config map. Where is that? Where does that go? Additional configuration methods for configuring commands: ArgoCD server, ArgoCD repo server, and ArgoCD application controller. The commands can also be configured by setting the respective flag of the available options in ArgoCMD params YAML. Each component has a specific prefix associated with it. I have no idea where those are, though. Right? let's start from installation and see where we go. ArgoCD has two types of installation, multi-tenant and core. The multi-tenant installation is the most common way to install ArgoCD. This type of installation is typically used to service multiple application developer teams. Yeah, we're not going to need that in the organization and maintained by a platform team. The end users can access ArgoCD via the API server using the web UI or ArgoCD CLI. The ArgoCD CLI has to be configured using ArgoCD login. Okay. We're definitely not doing high availability. I have done like Kate's at home with high availability and I never want to do it again. Okay, that's not true. The big problem was it was like my first time setting up Kubernetes and I did it high availability and I also automated it with Terraform, Proxmox, Cloud Init, and Ansible. It was one of the hardest things I've done technically ever. Okay, the ArgoCD core installation is primarily used to deploy ArgoCD in headless mode. Okay, that's not what we're looking to do. That's not what we're looking to do because I don't want to go headless here. The problem for me is always storage with HA at home. Yeah, I guess I don't know how that would work. I mean, I do have my NAS, and my end goal with this Kubernetes cluster is to set the NAS up such that all of the PVC stuff is there, but I'm not sure. Okay, what do we got? 2 non-high availability. Not recommended for production use. That's fine. This type of installation is typically used during evaluation period for demonstrations and testing. Install YAML. Start ArgoCD installation with cluster admin access. Use this manifest set if you plan to use ArgoCD to deploy applications in the same cluster. Yeah, that ArgoCD runs in. Yeah, it will still be able to deploy to external clusters with inputted credentials. That's cool. Namespace installation of ArgoCD, which requires only namespace level privileges. No, we're good. Okay. So ArgoCD CRDs are not included into the namespace install YAML and have to be installed separately. The CRD manifests are located blah. Okay, so this is an auto-generated file. Do not edit. So this must be the full thing. We Helm installed. Oh, that's a big manifest. I don't think we're typing that out by hand. Yeah? So we did the quick start. I guess my question would be this. Is that the same as this? I'm going to assume so. ArgoProj, ArgoCD stable manifests install YAML. Yeah, so we did the same thing. We just applied this. Cool. Yeah, I'm familiar with all this. I'm familiar with the features. Getting started. So we installed it. What are our next steps? This default installation will have a self-signed certificate and cannot be accessed without a bit of extra work. Do one of the following. Configure a cert. Don't think so. Configure the client OS to trust the self-signed cert. Use the -- insecure flag on all ArgoCD CLI operations in this guide. I think we'll be going that way. At one point, we'll probably make a stream about going HTTPS for everything. That would be, a good thing to do. But that's a later problem. Okay. Cool. ArgoCD login -- core to configure CLI access and skip steps 3 to 5. I don't want to skip any steps, man. Like, skipping steps sounds like a really great way to screw myself over somehow. But let's start here. First off, oh hey. Also, if you're new here, we have a Discord, and if you're interested in participating, we talk about a lot of fun things there. Basically all of these things. So feel free to join us. Okay, let's continue on here. I think I've got the ArgoCD CLI installed. Huzzah, we do. Access the ArgoCD API server. By default, the ArgoCD API server is not exposed with an external IP. To access the API server, choose one of the following techniques to expose the ArgoCD API server. So we can use a load balancer. That's cool. We can use Ingress, service type load balancer. Follow the Ingress documentation on how to configure ArgoCD with Ingress. Port forwarding. Kube control port forwarding can also be used to connect to the API server without exposing the service. That's not going to be our approach. Now, I'm going to guess this Ingress documentation is the same as we've already been sent. And when I say we've already been sent, I mean Plus sent us earlier. ArgoCD API server runs both a gRPC server used by the CLI, as well as HTTP and HTTPS server used by the UI. Oh, okay, cool. Both protocols are exposed by the ArgoCD server service object on the following ports. There are several ways how Ingress can be configured. Cool. Okay, cool. The initial password for the admin account is auto-generated and stored as a clear text field in the field password in a secret named in your ArgoCD installation namespace. How does that work? You can simply retrieve this password using ArgoCD CLI. Okay. So we can log in and we can do a bunch of stuff from the CLI. That's fine. But I want to use the UI for this. Mostly just because I just want to see the UI. I'll probably still do most of my stuff from the CLI. I want to get that working. And at this point, I'm not sure how I would solve this HTTPS redirect issue, which is the thing that was stumping me before. There's probably a way to do this patch type of thing, but I'm not sure. You can retrieve this IP, Ingress. Right? Oh, wait, example of ArgoCD CMD param CM config map. So how do we get that, how do we make use of that? Mapping CRD through path-based routing. Option 1, mapping CRD for host-based routing. So this is with Ambassador. But I haven't quite made out what this CMD param CM thing does. Okay, so config map is a kind. It is a kind of manifest. That's good to know. And so we can probably deploy that somehow. We need to find the correct place to set -- insecure. Yes, I'm with you on that. I'm trying to figure out what that means. Look for config maps in the namespace you installed ArgoCD. Yes, we are converging on a thing. This is good. So there should be a config map. Let's do a quick learn about Kubernetes config map. I'm guessing this is just like their way of creating a Kubernetes resource, for lack of a better phrase, with configuration in it. A config map is an API object used to store non-confidential data in key value pairs. It's a config file, but make it Kubernetes. Cool. Pods can consume config maps as environment variables, command line arguments, or as configuration files in a volume. Awesome. Okay, this makes sense. This makes a little bit more sense now. So we can probably, look at this. We can do this, part of ArgoCD. So we create a manifest of type, of kind, let's use the Kubernetes terminology, config map. We name it, we put it in the ArgoCD namespace, and then we say, hey, that's part of our existing ArgoCD deployment, right? And then value, blah, blah, blah. If used, if ArgoCD is running behind reverse proxy under subpath. I don't know, I'm not sure exactly, but we can probably set our values here now. Okay, this is big. This might be how we do the thing. So let's jump back to, why am I scrolling like a pleb? Like I don't know how to Control F. So Now, the API server should be run with TLS disabled. Edit the ArgoCD server deployment to add the -- insecure flag to the ArgoCD server command, or set server.insecure to true here. Yes. Okay, that's going to be our plan, I think. Okay. I don't know why I closed Vim. Like, I don't need that right now. So let's try ArgoCD CM. No, let's use the... I prefer longer names whenever possible, because I don't trust myself to remember what my abbreviations are for, and that's one of the reasons I don't like Golang. I still like Go, but I don't like that the convention is to just name variables F. Oh, you have a file? It's F. That's your variable. No, you know what? We need a second on this. F? That's your variable name? Just F? And this is like idiomatic Go. It's bizarre to me. Like, it's not 1972. We don't need to save memory space by reducing the number of characters in our files. Like, we don't need to do that. Anyways, that's just, just had a moment. Okay, so let's do this server dot, and it's insecure true. Now, is true is in quotation marks for next to no good reason. Okay. Plus, it's a classic to name files F or iterators I, like we did it last century. For some reason, I'm fine with iterator as I. To be fair, okay, so another preface. I learned to program on ANSI C. It's because the University of Guelph, the university I attended, teaches their students basically C99 if you're lucky, but ANSI C for the first 3 years, right? We write our algorithms in C. We wrote a file parser in C. We did all sorts of things in C. And then you get the pleasure of working in Python. So I have a weird background in programming because of that. I feel like most people don't start in C, like in the last 20 years, maybe C++. And so I'm like, there are some old practices I appreciate. And I do, like, I'm a big Unix history fan. Even though I'm not particularly knowledgeable, I do have this appreciation of it, and I would like to explore it further. But F? I don't know. Okay. This is just me thinking. I would check if there's a config map already in the namespace called what you need to change and output that as a YAML and edit it. That is a good idea. I'm going to be honest with you, though. I am just going to try this as it is and see what happens. This could break a bunch of stuff, actually. Hold on. This could break things. Why would it break things? If there's an existing config map that comes by default, and I launch this may overwrite existing configurations, right? Because it doesn't contain the existing ones, which would mean dumping that to a file first to C is a really good idea. Danny? Thanks. I almost maybe blew this up. Now let's see how much kube control I remember. Kube control get. So, I mean, I can do service, and I know I need namespace ArgoCD. And is CM? Look at us go. Look at us go. Okay, so there is ArgoCD CMD param CM. Data 0, which signals to me that there's nothing in it. I also don't know how to get it. This is a decent ChatGPT opportunity. Okay. Hey, chat. How do I use kube control get CM to get the contents of a config map? I'm also starting to get this feeling about kube control where, like, now I know what the kinds are. And I know that I can sort of ping kube control about various kinds. That's good, you know? Sweet. We just -o it. Okay. All right. This is great. So, ArgoCD, and then is it get? Oh, it's just get. Okay. cube control, oops, not kubj, cube control, get cm. The name of it, ArgoCD, cmd, param cm. And then we give it a namespace, ArgoCD-O. And then we're going to do a little, let's pipe that to YAML. And, oh, this is nice. We can pretty print it. I have YQ-O YAML YQ. Can I do that? Well, let's first try it like this. Okay, look at that. We got stuff. My nose is itchy. Last configured, creation, labels, name, namespace, resource version. Okay, this looks auto-generated to me, right? Real quick, I just want to try something. JSON? What is it, dot data? So that's not working. Isn't that interesting? Oh, because there's nothing called dot data in it. So if I do YAML YQ, if I do YAML YQ, I get JSON. All right, man. Yeah, for sure. Why not, right? Just give me JSON for everything. But this is nice because this means I can write little scripts with JQ, and that could be useful in the future. So what are we going to do? I think the question here is, we've got a creation timestamp, we've got a UID, and we've got a resource version. Do I want to copy this, or is this something that gets like auto-generated and will probably just append a bunch of this stuff to my config map? I don't know. Either way, though, it doesn't look like replacing this will break it. So I'm going to try without dumping this and configuring it. But really good call, Danny. Really freaking good call. CD infra. And I think we can just do a kube control apply-f ArgoCD config map, I think. .yaml. Okay. So that works nicely. Hey, Paul. Yeah, immediately breaks it, right? Okay. So let's go ahead and do our getCM, kube control getCM, this guy again. Pipe it through YQ, why not? And there it is. Okay, so it did seem to just append. That's a really good thing to know. So server.insecure is there now. We also have, I'm just going to do a little, do I have bat? I think I do. ls bat argo ingress. Yeah, do I have that? Can I do kube control get ingress root? Is that a thing? Get ingress root. I mean, you can, so far we've been able to do CM and service and pods. This is another kind. This would make sense if the grammar of kube control is consistent. You know what I mean? That's the shit I like. Okay. Quick aside. One of the reasons I love Vim so much is that its grammar is consistent, right? You have like the delete object, you delete within thing, right? Or like you apply verbs to nouns and blah, 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 blah. Kube control right now is being very consistent with me. And I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Like a Docker-based Homelab, like a Docker Compose Homelab, is really simple, right? It's fairly simple to manage. You just maybe a make file and a bunch of Docker Compose ups, and you're good to go, right? But kube control is giving me a lot of really great tooling. There's a greater barrier to entry for sure, but I don't know. I'm really appreciating this tooling, which makes sense, right? Because we're talking about an industry standard like tool, something that is super widely used for extremely important things. So it better be like this. but I am happy. So that's good. Okay, cool. Why is my nose so itchy? Okay. So maybe now this will just work. Are we going via, let's go HTTP. No, not secure. Well, that's fine. Your connection to the site is, you should not enter, blah, blah, blah. That's not what I want to do. Okay. So we're still getting that. We have, I think, no, we've successfully applied this, right? That's good. And then this is just copy pasted. This is just copy pasted. Does it apply the config map immediately or only when restarted? I don't know. The config map is there, but maybe we need to do a little reboot action on our pods. Cube control get pods -n ArgoCD. Oh god, there's so many of these. There's got to be a way. Maybe cube control get deployments. AdGuard. Oh, -n ArgoCD. Wow. Okay, those are all deployments. So there's a mapping of pods to deployments here, which is interesting. I think in AWS, like ECS, for example, if I don't know how many of you are AWS people, but this is seeming like services, and this seems like tasks to me, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, maybe we can just restart the ArgoCD server. So maybe, I don't know what the command for that. Oh, wow. New people in the Discord. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining. After setting the config map, might I need to restart my, what is this thing called? ArgoCD server for it to apply? I don't know how that works. The ArgoCD docs are okay. They're a little sparse. Yeah, config maps are mounted and consumed at container start. Plus, you genius. You're a genius. Okay. So, let's bring that with us. Where do I have my terminal open? On 2. Okay. So, oops. What do we need? So, rollout. What is a rollout? Cube control. Oh, that's not the terminal I'm using. Whatever. Cube control get rollout? Doesn't have a resource type rollout. Yeah. Okay. Rollout, restart, deploy. I want to know what that means. Are we get deploy? Okay. So I'm going to guess rollout, restart. We're going to, I mean, I understand restarting a deployment, but I guess we're saying, hey, there is a deployment called ArgoCD server, and there's a rollout for it, restart that. But the grammar is a little bit weird. Do you know what I mean? But anyways, restart deploy ArgoCD server. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to do the same thing for repo server and application controller. Oh, did I mistype? Nope. Okay. CMD param cm. Okay. So, oh, okay. You know what? We might do that. See, just in case. Yes. Let's do that. So, You're hiding the typo behind your face in stream. Here, hold on. Let's take me, throw me up here for now. Oh, this is interesting. So from a pod, you can grab its configuration. Okay, let's try that. Cube control get pod -L. What is the -L flag for? What does that do? There's big L. What about little l? Selector, label query. Okay, so we're saying L, and then we're saying the name is ArgoCD server, and then we're grabbing its configuration as YAML, and then piping it through grep. Cool. And then we're going just args. What does -A5 do with grep? I've never seen that. It's application set controller or applications controller. Application set controller or applications controller. Let's take a look at what I did. So it's applications controller? No. Let's try application set controller. Plus, everybody. All right. So let's grab this. Whoops. We're seeing... Interesting. We're not seeing that under args. Let's give this a shot still. Sorry for jumping around so much. I realize that must be jarring. Okay, yeah, still. Display 5 lines after the match. Oh, -A. What's the so 5, sure. Oh, after. Capital A for after. 5 after. So just out of curiosity, could I do 5A? No. Interesting. So it is after and then some number. 10. Okay, cool. ArgoCD server insecure. Looks like we needed more lines. Good thing I experimented. True. That's good. That's super useful. Freaking love that. So we are seeing server insecure set to true. We are seeing that. We are seeing that. However, we are not here. We're not seeing this. Let's do it just in case. Nope. Okay. 404, page not found. This is tough. ArgoCD.laundromat, ArgoCD.laundromat. So we're doing... I mean, this is straight copy-pasted. Straight up copy-pasted from the ArgoCD docs, right? Close this guy, go like this. We have, at this point, set this to insecure. Edit the ArgoCD server deployment to add the -- insecure flag to the ArgoCD server command. Or set server insecure true. That's what we did. Is it not? Is this not what we did? Right? I'm not crazy, right? So, like, here we are. And we've got our config map. We did exactly what we were told to do. We set that insecure true. That's working. We know the contents of this are actually reflected in our Kubernetes deployment because we looked at them. We restarted all of our stuff. And when we do the grep, right? Do I have that here? Cube control. Ah, I don't have that here. I closed that terminal. And when we do the grep, we see it. We see that that was set. So that's weird. So let's just try this. Let's see if this does something. If maybe somehow this server.insecure thing from the CMD params is not being reflected. I don't know how to do this. So let's find out. I'm guessing this is a patch. Okay, that's what we've done, and that didn't work. You can just do a kube control -n. You can do a kube control edit deploy. That's interesting. Let's try it. Kube control edit deploy ArgoCD -server -n ArgoCD. Is this the 2000? No, it's smaller. Okay, cool. So I didn't know you could just hop in like this. This is pretty cool. So there should be a command somewhere. Nice. No such command. Let's take a quick look through it. I mean, I would assume this would be in containers. Args. This, okay, so it's under args, not commands. Nice. Containers, args, env. How many containers we got? Containers. 2 out of 2. One of these is here. Last applied configuration. Okay, cool. So we don't need that. I mean, that's not what we're going to be editing. This is probably what we're editing. And we just need to add this -- insecure. So let's try it. Okay, so we've edited the deployment. And now let's maybe do let's do a redeploy. What was the guy for that? This guy. Okay, let's type it out. Cube control, and it's rollout, restart, deploy. Rollout, restart, deploy. How can I remember that? Deploy is easy, restart's easy, but why rollout? Why rollout? This particular rollout of the deployment, I guess, is how I'm going to do that. Okay, so we've restarted it. Let's see what we're dealing with now. Come on, stupid Google. Still 404, page not found. Okay. Let's jump back to the docs and try the port forward. Just for a second. So now, what'll happen when I do that? So now if I go localhost 8080, whoa. That wasn't happening before. What have we blown up? This is interesting. Handling connection. So we started forwarding. Oops. Connection lost to pod. Okay. UID failed to execute port forward in network namespace. write to this, read. What? So what exactly are we doing? We're saying the internal 443 is getting mapped to the external 8080, right? Which is what we were doing, but it doesn't like that. Do I have another port forward opening, like running right now? How do I check my open ports again? It's like LSOF something or other. TLDR LSOF. Path port. Find the process that opened a local internet port. Output the process ID. Let's try that. LSOF-I port 8080. Okay, so there's nothing there right now. Find the process that is listening. Okay, let's try that again. LSOF-I. We don't want IPv4. Yeah, or sorry, it's IPv6. We want IPv4 or netstat tulpen. This should show me everything. Grep. Okay, there's nothing there. Tulpen. Oh, that's much nicer. Okay. So we're not seeing anything like that. This is interesting. What could this mean? Port forward. Does it just... Yeah, fails. Huh. I have no idea. What have we changed so far? We've changed the config map so that insecure is set. And then we restarted a bunch of services. That's really it. Right? What? At this point, man, I'm really considering trying out Flux CD instead of ArgoCD because ArgoCD has been just nonsense to configure. Like, did we not do exactly what we were told? Apple Amigo, is ArgoCD running on port 80? Since you set the insecure flag true, then you have to change the port forward to 80. Maybe. So that's a really good point. It's a very good point. Okay, we're still getting that error. But good instincts there, for sure. Huh. An error occurred forwarding 8080. Error forwarding port 8080 to pod. UID. Failed to execute port forward in network namespace. Write to blah. Read blah. Connection reset by peer. Did the Argo CD come up again after? Let's find out. Get pods. Okay. Oh, hey, look at that. We have two Argo CD servers running. That's not good. Okay. Well, 14 minutes and 5 minutes ago. So we did the first reset, and then this is the reset, I think, the restart, that was involved in changing it to -- insecure. So what was the command for that? So basically, we jumped in and we edited. We went here, right? Dash. Whoa, hey. That's this one. So, but we already have an instance of ArgoCD running, ArgoCD server. I guess I can just try to bring that down. Or is this like a blue-green thing that it's doing by default? I don't know. Are the pods happy? Okay, it's running. But we have two. Oh, the other one died. Okay, so it keeps one of them warm until the new one comes up. So it just didn't like the dash dash insecure flag that way, which is interesting. So maybe we can try our port forward again. Nope. Nope. Interesting. Nope. All right, what's ChatGPT got to say? You didn't break cube control. The forwarding target is just isn't happy. I assumed I didn't break cube control. Usually exposes ports 40 or port 80 and 443, but the target port 8080 on the pod. But both target port 8080 on the pod. When you run this, cube control forwards localhost 8080 to pod 8080, even though you wrote 443. Okay. Your connection reset by peer typically means the server on 8080 reset closed the connection, often because flags change. It's still starting, or it expects TLS/plain differently than you're using. Okay. Is this normal? So it's saying HTTP and HTTPS are both on 8080. That makes sense, right? Because it's designed, like by default, it's redirecting HTTP traffic to HTTPS, right? So we sort of expect that. I can't imagine why this would work. Nope. I don't know why I keep retrying this. Like, we know that this isn't going to work. So, what else could this mean? We set this. We know we did. We didn't. Now, when we gave it dash dash insecure, that did not work. But I am noticing that this is an array of strings. So maybe it didn't work because I should have given dash dash insecure as a second thing instead of as part of this. Similar to how like Python sub process calls work. I don't know. ArgoCD logs. Okay, so cube control. What are we doing? Logs. Deploy. Right. And what do we want? Just the tail of them. So ArgoCD dash dash tail. Sure. Okay, interesting. So what are we getting here? Starting port 8080. Let's throw that elsewhere. Okay. Starting config map, secret informers, blah, blah, blah. Invalidated cache. This is probably normal. Enabled application namespace. Subscribe to settings updates, starting the RBAC config map, invalidate, and that's it. And it seems to be running. This is pretty crazy to me. Okay. You know what? Let's jump back to this config map. So this is, as far as I can tell, the only change we've made is deploying this, right? We undid our dash dash insecure change, and then we restarted the services. So not much has changed, right? Um, rollout, restart, deploy. CD server. Nice, nailed it. So I'm just reverting our change to see if we can still get the local host thing going. You know, like, can we at least do that? Nope. Nope. Huh. The whole thing is borked. Well, in classic fashion for our stream, if you're new here, we usually install things more than once. So I think we're going to try a full uninstall, and then we'll start fresh with ArgoCD and see what that does. So, how the heck do you get rid of this? What was my installation process? We created a namespace, and then we applied ArgoCD. This guy. Interesting. How do we uninstall? Cube control, uninstall. Cube control, delete. Okay, let's try that. Cube control, delete, -F. And then what we're going to do is grab that. And we're just going to try again. Okay. And we see nothing. Great. Okay. Let's try this again and see what happens. Round 2, fight! By the way, Street Fighter 2 Turbo was such a great game. I think I actually played some Street Fighter 2 back in the day. I'm going to do this. You know what? Let's write this out because that one I don't remember well. Port forward service ArgoCD-server-n ArgoCD, and we're doing 8080 to 443. And I need to learn how to type. So, this is still weird to me. That's still, there's something funky about that. Okay, cool. So that's working. When we do the port forward, it works. Did traffic break it? Like, did this break it? I can't imagine how, but it could have. Like, why is it so hard to get access to this? By default, the ArgoCD API server is not exposed with an external IP. To access the API server, choose one of the following techniques to expose the ArgoCD API server. Change the ArgoCD service type to load balancer. After a short wait, your cloud provider, my NAS, or actually no, i7 mini PC. After a short wait, your cloud provider will assign an external IP address to the service. You can retrieve the IP with the following. Let's try that approach. The Ingress route looks like traffic is terminating SSL TLS. This means that in the browser, you'd use HTTPS again. I think we tried both. I'm going to try the load balancer approach and see what that does. Let's do that. Okay, so we're going to do kube control patch service ArgoCD server -n ArgoCD -p. Oh, this is going to be fun typing. Spec. Type. Load balancer. Okay. And then we can do kube control get service ArgoCD server -n ArgoCD for our namespace. We're going to do a -o JSON path. So I guess that's kind of like doing JQ stuff. Load balancer. Oh, capitals. Capitals. Balancer dot ingress 0.ip. Nothing yet. I suppose that'll take some time. Or maybe we need to restart. I'm going to be honest. If this doesn't work, if we can't get past this level, I will be looking at FluxCD. I've had this recommended to me before, and like, because this is kind of nuts to me. This feels... This feels like the kind of thing that should be really well documented. Do you know what I mean? Like, look, why don't we have an IP? Maybe this is skill diff. You know, maybe I'm missing something, but I feel like this should be still pending. The kind of thing that's like obvious and clear and ready in the docs for new users. Do you know what I mean? And I haven't done anything nuts either, right? Like our Kubernetes cluster is just K3s in a pretty basic state. So it is a little strange to me that these things aren't working. Am I crazy? Let me know. Like, am I just... So yeah, plus says the Ingress route looks like traffic is terminating SSL TLS. This means that in the browser, you'd use HTTPS again. Yeah. Okay. We're still pending on that external IP. Crazy. So yeah, so we've taken this ArgoCD server and instead of cluster IP, it's now load balancer. So at some point we'll get this external IP. In the meantime, I guess we can continue to look at this. Okay, should be run with TLS disabled. As described here. To set the log format, okay. Yeah, run server without TLS. this is, we haven't done anything here. Like this, yeah, this is it. This is what we did. Repo server address, commit server, Redis server. The flags that do not have a prefix are shared across multiple components. Okay. Yeah, so we can change some ports, but what are the odds that we needed to copy this whole thing over, and by not copying it, we lost a bunch of configuration? That just doesn't seem likely to me. Still pending on our external IP. All right, we're looking at Flux documentation. Let's pop that over and pop that over, because this is nuts. And a series of Kubernetes controller. Ah, looks like Flux bootstrap with Terraform. That's kind of cool. Does it have a UI? Ah, capacitor. A general purpose UI for Flux. It does not look great. But I mean, if their installation process is reasonable, then maybe. Okay. We're still pending. Is it dead? No. I am beyond confused. Like, this is just wild. Okay. Hmm. Ports. I seriously, I just don't know. Okay. So this is not giving us an IP. I don't know if that's going to go forever or what. We'll find out. The API server can then be accessed using localhost. Like, how is this failing on step 3 on a fresh install? Okay, I'm curious. So I'm curious why this is taking so long. I've set things to load balancer and gotten external IPs pretty quickly in the past. I think we did that for ArgoCD or for AdGuard Home. But this is going for quite a while, and I'm not sure why. Now ChatGPT's decided to be super slow. Okay, let's take a look. ArgoCD K3S. Let's take a look at some blogs. Maybe. So K3S with Nginx Ingress, not able to see ArgoCD GUI outside the cluster. Okay. Also check if your service has endpoints, and I would try to port forwarding to make sure that everything downstream of Ingress spec is properly set up. And check your Ingress, whether it has an assigned IP or not. Yeah, it has endpoints. Nginx Ingress Kubernetes, force SSL redirect, backend protocol HTTPS, SSL. So it comes here. Basically provision EC2, install K3S, install ArgoCD, install cert manager. All in one script. Your backend isn't defined correctly. Okay, installs K3S, installs Nginx Ingress, installing ArgoCD. Argo Helm. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. And then they patch the config map for this. And then they do a rollout restart on the deployment. Cool. And then they update the ArgoCD admin password. That's fine. Cert managers. So they set insecure to true. I'm not sure what the cert manager stuff does here. Let's encrypt, doing a bunch of stuff, like, and then let's encrypt. So they are trying to go with HTTPS, right? Otherwise, why would you need cert manager? Interesting. Maybe we go the patch route. Still no on that. All right. This is what Perplexity recommends for a simple installation. Okay. Let's take a look. Oh, cool. Installing ArgoCD on K3S with traffic as the Ingress frequently fails due to misconfiguration of TLS, Ingress, and insecure mode settings. The solution generally involves running the ArgoCD server in insecure mode, creating the appropriate traffic ingress or ingress route, and ensuring DNS and secrets are set up properly. So we haven't done any of that. Okay, so we've done this. Run the ArgoCD server in insecure HTTP mode. Okay, we just did that, right? And then we did a rollout. Cool. Create an ingress or traffic. Okay. This is via networking. Create an ingress or traffic ingress route resource. Or use traffic ingress route for advanced features, including TLS. Other issues and troubleshooting. Be sure to apply any required TLS secret if you want HTTPS termination of traffic. If using ARM devices, no. If encountering error too many redirects, I don't think that's what we're seeing. Check that the DNS or /etc/hosts entry points at the cluster IP for the chosen host name. Yeah. Accessing ArgoCD. The default login is admin. Yeah. The ingress is different there. All right, let's give it a shot. So we did just set it to insecure. So we can do projects, Kubernetes, CD infra, ArgoCD. And then we're going to do an nvim ArgoCD Ingress v2. We're just going to pop that in. Host needs to be laundry mat. Yep, this is all good. Okay. Cube control, apply -f argo ingress v2, and then we're going to do -n argo cd. Okay, so laundry.mat. Oh, for crying out loud. What? What? Okay. So the Ingress does not terminate SSL, so it's still HTTP. So maybe we just needed to, in our original, okay, let's close this. In our original here, maybe this just needed to be web instead of web secure. The Ingress does not terminate, so it's still HTTP. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So how does this differ from this? That's the question, right? Why is this working, but this, or sorry, why is this working, but this one isn't, right? It's because it's set to HTTP, so maybe we needed to get rid of this TLS thing and set entry points to web. Okay, we have it working, and a normal person would say, wow, fantastic, now we can go about doing ArgoCD things. I'm broken on the inside, though, and I need to know why this didn't work. I have to. So we're going to, now we know this works, and we can always go back to it, I hope. So what can we do? We can do a cube control delete -f ArgoCD ingress v2.yaml ArgoCD. Also, thanks, Plus. You're freaking awesome. Just absolutely fantastic. Okay, cool. So what I'm doing here is changing the entry point to web and deleting the TLS handler. I'm hoping this has a similar effect to the thing we just made. Ingress and ingress root are two completely different things, like the kinds of zombies in Cabin in the Woods. Okay, interesting. Ingress and ingress root are different. Oh, hey, this worked. Web. So I want to try one more thing. Can I leave in this TLS part and see what it does? No, I can't. That's why it didn't work last time. That's why it didn't work last time. This gets us there. Now, let's think for a moment. Why didn't we do this last time? I think it was, we did try entry point at web. We didn't try removing the TLS resolver. And that was the big problem. Okay. Well, I'm very happy about that. We can get rid of the v2. Ingress. V. And let's check our git. Git add argo cd ingress. Git add argo cd config map. Add insecure ingress for ArgoCD web UI. Okay. Whew. We got there. I really almost rage quit ArgoCD. Um, so what did we learn here? Under Ingress, for these docs, remember we can Google. Um, like it's crazy to me that this is designed for web secure and they're explicitly telling you to turn off web secure. You know? You know what I mean? That's just kind of nuts. Um, but we got there in the end, and that's what matters. So let's do a quick update on our notes. Struggled for a long time. Um, in the end, we had to update the traffic ingress route manifest, remove the TLS resolver, and change entry point to web. Cool. QBA, I love that people like you exist and others can learn from you or without you. It's a pity that I don't know most of the things you configure, and I am not on that level, by the way. I'm basic at most things. QBA, first off, thank you very much. All right, let's take a quick break from building things because my brain hurts, to be completely honest with you. Um, First off, thank you. That's a really nice thing to say about me and the people that participate in this chat. I will also say this. Everybody starts somewhere learning this kind of stuff. And as you can see, I'm not by any means an expert either, right? I know some things that maybe you don't know, but I'm sure there are things that you know that I don't know. So if you're having fun and you're learning while participating, that's fantastic. And wherever you're at, you know, this is tech is a space where you can be learning forever. So you know, keep at it if it's fun for you. We're doing it. Sick setup, bro. Hey, how's it going? Uh, yeah, new camera. Sorry with you or from you. No worries. No worries at all. But yeah, like everybody's got to start somewhere. I've been like a Linux enthusiast for the last almost 10 years at this point. And I'm still forgetting the flags for sed commands or like forgetting to put quotations or just learning now about command substitutions and all sorts of things, right? Like there's always more to learn and there's nothing wrong with starting wherever you're at, right? You got to start somewhere. Okay. I'm going to take a quick second, grab myself Diet Coke, and come back to see if we can actually do some configuration now that ArgoCD's web UI works. So give me 5 minutes and I'll be right with you. Okay. Am I the only one getting a slight audio delay with fancy camera? Nope, same delay for me. Ah, that's good to know. Let's take a quick second and see if we can do something about that. Oh, no, let me think. I think so. If I go down, face. Oh, I'm getting delay. Yeah, I'm getting delay in OBS itself. That's weird. Ah, okay. I think that should be fixed. How's the delay now? I think I was getting a problem with buffering. I had it set to allow buffered stuff, and now it's not. So we should be okay on that front. Okay. What was the issue? Yeah, so here actually, I'll show you. Let's do some behind the scenes. So let's go. I think I can do, no, that's, no. There we go. Okay. So if I go, no. Okay, hold on. I know what to do. Duplicate. Desktop plus fancy cam. I like that name. I think we're gonna call it the fancy cam from now on. Who called it that? We gotta give you credit whenever. Michael. Michael, it is now the fancy cam. Thank you. And let's change that. So I don't need this guy. I need V4L2 add existing camera. Boom. Okay, and then let's do a little boom. Okay. There is 0.2, 0.5 seconds. I thought it was weird. Now it's okay. Yeah. So basically, over here, if you can all see, I had use buffering on. Don't do that. Don't do that. And then you don't have that problem. Okay, awesome. And, Silk's on. Yes, if you're interested, I should have a video out on Saturday, hopefully, if everything goes according to plan. I've been really good lately about staying consistent with the weekly uploads. Hold on. With the weekly uploads. And next week's video is about using this little N100 mini PC with CachyOS's handheld edition to create basically like, my goal was $100 Linux gaming console, right? It's like, how cheap can you make the docked Steam Deck experience and still be able to play indie titles and maybe some emulator games? That's kind of what we're going for. So I got Silksong running. We sort of walked through that at the beginning of the stream today. I'll test out like Hades and a couple of other things, and then I'll spend some time tomorrow getting emulators running, stitch the video together, ship it out, and should be fun. I'm considering sort of playing around deeper into the Linux gaming niche because I would really love to game on Linux, but it's hard. So, how's gaming on Omarchy? Does it have Proton support? Gaming on Omarchy. Gaming on Omarchy is not great. Actually, here, hold on. I made a video about this. Let's do this guy. I made a video about gaming on Omarchy. Sorry to sorry to keep jumping back and forth, but I'm not that sorry. I made a video about it. It's okay. It is not the best Linux gaming distro, by the way. But DHH is taking pull requests on improvements for gaming. So actually, one thing I've been looking at is this. Recreating the SteamOS experience. A lot of people have made these scripts. And so I'm looking at, can I stitch together one of these scripts, maybe ship it off as a PR to the the Omarchy project, and see where that goes. I think that would be super cool. Okay, what else we got? Michael says Hades 2 coming out soon. Yes, I'm super excited about that. Honestly, I want to play more games, but I've been really busy lately. Hades was one that I dropped a fair amount of hours into. QBA says, what is the main idea of the Homelab, or is it just for fun and learning? A mix. I think the best way to learn and have fun is to build things that you will use. So I'm in a mix of like, let's deploy services that I'll actually use. So Home Assistant, because I use that for smart lights, and I plan to use it for a lot more. And Kubernetes over Docker because I want to do, and this ArgoCD stuff because I want to do industry style stuff. So it is a mix of learning and a mix and fun by building things that I plan on using. That's what I would say. Okay. Whew. Let's do this. Silksong took so much of my time away. I'm 100%ing it. Oh, I've played about 80 minutes of it so far, and I'm really bad at like Metroidvania games, but it's just so fun. I'm really looking forward to playing some more of it. I still need to get back to Elden Ring too. Okay. So let's do this. Let's get going. The initial password for the admin account is auto-generated and stored as clear text in the field password in a secret named ArgoCD initial admin secret. In your ArgoCD installation namespace, you can simply retrieve this password using the ArgoCD CLI. ArgoCD admin initial password -n ArgoCD. Cool. Debian Forky finally updated Mesa to 25.2. Expected huge gains for my 9070 XT, and what I got was undefined symbol, Wayland display dispatch queue timeout in libvulcan. Yeah. That's been a lot of my experience as well. 97 XT is a great choice of card too. I really considered it. I went with the 5070 Ti because I game on Windows, which I know, but you know, sometimes you do all of this stuff, all of this building and streaming and stuff, and you just want to game without having to bash your head against solving Linux problems. Played all of it on NixOS, and the game is huge. Hell yeah. Okay, let's do this. Pop this over here. Let's get back to business. No, let's type things out so we remember them. ArgoCD admin initial password -n ArgoCD. Cool. I don't mind you all seeing this password because obviously it doesn't matter. I don't know how you would gain access to this, right? What? Whoa. Did we not? Did we not just fix that? I'm sorry, what? What? Did we? What? How is this broken? Did we not just get that working? Okay. What? Okay. Cube control apply -f argo cd ingress .yaml. Okay. Thank God. I was about to be very angry. Like, you know? Okay. It's fine. Everything's working. Also, Sumitra, how's it going? I feel like it's been a while. I think you're my first moderator. How have things been? I thought you didn't like the command bar LazyVim has. I don't. I just haven't taken the time to change it yet. That's all. Okay. So we have our initial ArgoCD password, ArgoCD admin initial password -n ArgoCD. It's been a while. Nice to see your channel growing. Thank you. I appreciate that. No. Yes. Cool. Well, this is nice, isn't it? This makes me happy. This makes me happy. Current password. Oh, whoa. Not AdGuard. ArgoCD. Let's do that. And then let's make a new password. Now let's do Bitwarden, generate password. Oops. And let's also go. That's the old guy. Edit. It's the new guy. Sweet. Sorry, I have been swamped with work, so I haven't been able to join as many lives as I wish to. Don't worry about that at all. Like, my stream is not an obligation. I'm happy when you're here, and I hope things are going well when you're not. You know, whatever's going on. How's work? What's up with that? Using the username admin and the password from above, log into ArgoCD's IP or hostname. Okay. I think I can just do argocd.laundry.mat. Yeah. Admin. I need the Bitwarden CLI. Fatal. Cool. Cool, man. Let's try that. Nope. Nope. Is this dead too? No. Let's do that. What does ArgoCD do? ArgoCD basically syncs your cluster configuration, like the Kubernetes cluster configuration, with GitHub. So whenever I push new like Kubernetes configuration to this GitHub, ArgoCD will then apply that configuration to my cluster. I no longer enjoy learning DevOps. Oh man, that bad, huh? Just really busy at work or something like that? Why didn't this work? Server certificate. Oh, wait a second. Can I do that? Ah. Oh, let's try it one more time. I hate ArgoCD. I really do. So that's the CD part. Yeah. I really do. I hate this thing. See, cool to see you running Kates. Thanks. I mean, it's K3S, so it's not like full Kates, but I'm doing my best. Okay. Why? Why? Why is this not fatal error? RPC error. Unimplemented description. Unexpected HTTP status code received from server. 404 not found. All right, screw it. We're going through the GUI. Kube control get content. Okay, first list all cluster context in here. Yeah, we know that. Had sold DevOps projects at my uni, some, but have not yet touched Kubernetes. Kubernetes has been a ton of fun to work with. ArgoCD has not been very fun. whatsoever. So, okay, so we have the default cluster. That should be fine. And then I guess we just connect. Can I do via HTTP? And laundry. Oops. Sure, default. Git. Shouldn't need this. For Bitbucket. Yeah. Okay. This should be fine. I don't know what any of these options are. Failed. Cool. Yeah, I didn't think that was going to work. Create application. No, not create application. Repositories. Those are your options? Get it right the first time or... Oh, hey, Tim, how's it going? So, you should have seen it. We've been battling with ArgoCD for a while. And now the login still doesn't work, but we do have the web UI working. Is there like an authentication server? Repo server? Because like ArgoCD login -- insecure does not work. Oh, sorry. We need to give it the thing. You're coming just right for our third round of installation. There is FluxCD, which I think Parkerman from the Discord was talking about. At this point, man, I would not recommend ArgoCD to anyone. Yeah. It baffles me. String server address. Yeah, it's been an absolute nightmare to just get the most basic shit going. Like, just saw the Primogen make a video of how the framework CEO just casually push stuff to Omarchi. Oh, that's super exciting. Okay. An example repository can... Okay, so... Yeah, my CLI is not working, but I guess... I also, like, configure connected repositories? No idea. Let's just try new app and see what happens. AdGuard Home. Automatic. Enable auto sync. Sync options. Should be fine. Oops. Source. So if I go apps, this should do it. Like that. Branch, yeah. Or path. So what exactly would we do? -- path, guestbook, apps. So we want the git repo. Okay, let's actually look at the instructions here. We grab the repository repo and then we give it a path. And the assumption is that where is that path? It says dash dash path guestbook. Is guestbook guestbook? Okay, cool. So then we should be able to do something like this, but via HTTPS. So we would go this. Whoops, let's get that right. It would go like this, head, path. We would say apps slash AdGuard Home, like that. Default namespace. I'm happy with default. Yeah. Just in case. Create project name. Default. Is that working? It looks like ArgoCD went with the overcomplicated path and ArgoCD went with the simplified path. It's feeling like that, isn't it? CLI most probably needs the ArgoCD API. We only made the UI available. Once again, good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff from Plus. Okay, let's take a look. I mean, you're probably right. So let's do a quick ArgoCD. No. Kube control get service ArgoCD. And let's take a look. Which one of these many services would be the API? Application set controller? Probably. Probably the application set controller. I'm gonna guess that. But hold on. Okay, no, that's fine. Yeah, probably the application set controller. But then the question is, we did the Ingress stuff. CLI we only made the UI available. But I swear I'm going to finish a thought soon. The ArgoCD API server is not exposed with an external IP. To access the API server, choose one of the following techniques to expose the ArgoCD API server. But it's ArgoCD server, which is what we exposed, no? Like, right? So if my assumption would be that this API server is here /API /my endpoint, kind of like that, right? Served by the same stuff. You know what I mean? Anyways, okay, let's try something quickly here. CD apps, CD AdGuard Home. We've just created this app, right? This app under AdGuard CD. And what I want to do, sorry, ArgoCD, AdGuard CD, is make a tiny change here and see how it syncs. So maybe we can apply a new label under metadata, test label, ArgoCD check, like that. Get status, get AdGuard, YAML, whoops, come on now. Get add, get commit. Sorry, Nathan, the princess is in another pod. Yeah. Okay, so let's try this. Git commit -m. We're going to say add metadata to adguard.yaml to test ArgoCD syncing. I'm going to push it. Last sync a few seconds ago. It would be really nice if it told me like the commit Whoa, this is cool. Oh, it does. Okay, hold on. This is cool. This is really cool, and it's so cool. It may be worth the like 7 hours I've lost to ArgoCD so far. Like this view, really good. Really good. Right? I'm not crazy, right? Like this is freaking sweet. I don't even fully understand all of it, but like, look at this. We can see two services. We can see the deployment, the ingress route, the two PVCs. This is, what exactly are the revisions? That's really cool. And the pod. I like this a lot. I do. Okay. Now, what's the last thing we can do here? Let's do one more thing. I want to get my apps running here. Come on. There we go. So applications, new app. And then we're going to say traffic UI, project name, default, sync automatic. Yeah. And then we're going to grab this. Nope, we're going to do it this way. We're going to go this, head, path, and it should be under infra, right? Oh, it's base. Why is that under base? Whatever, base. Yeah, cool. So just infra. Default namespace, default. Whoa, how did I do that? Default, this should work. Create. This is really cool. Guys, this is really cool. Whoa, what? That's not right. Why is it picking up ArgoCD from traffic? Something's not quite right. Oh, because I gave it the wrong thing. Duh. Okay, it's still picking up this. Base, not infra. Yeah, it's still picking up ArgoCD stuff, which it like should not be doing. Like this, maybe. Oh, do I just delete these? No, I don't want to delete these. That's not what we want to do. So I think it picked them up. Can I just delete this whole thing? Details, diff, sync, delete. Are you sure you want to delete? Yeah. Deleting the application in foreground or background mode will delete all the application's managed resources. I don't want to do any of that. I want these to no longer be a part of this application because it was misdetected. So I just want it to no longer consider those. You know? Also, I just realized something. You could host. No, never mind. Never mind. Stupid idea. Wait, no, hold on. It's not a stupid idea. If you all launch ArgoCD on your Kubernetes clusters, you could sync your Kubernetes clusters to my GitHub, which means we could all have the exact same cluster, like Homelab services configured, right? Like, not saying you should, but it means like, okay, story time. My dad and I have been trying to figure out how to configure our home labs to interact nicely and also be configured similarly And we've been playing with ideas like Ansible and Tailscale and WireGuard and stuff like that. Quick stretch. And now I'm seeing if we can make ArgoCD installation and configuration not a massive pain in the ass, then getting this over, like copying these configurations would be super easy. And that's really cool. That's really cool. Okay. Oh, cool. You can do rollbacks and things. I mean, of course you can, but I don't want to prune anything. So if I do this, I don't want to delete the resource. I just want it to no longer be considered part of this. Maybe if I do this, new app, ArgoCD. Wait, I guess I don't have ArgoCD in here. Yeah. That info you don't want there. Is that just Git seeing it? Is it just a Git exclude type of thing? Kind of. Oh, I've got the wrong face going on here. Basically, the first time I registered this service, it had the wrong path. And so it found files that it wasn't supposed to find. And now it's saying, hey, those files aren't there anymore. Your config is out of sync with your cluster. So if you delete these, we'll spin down those services because you're clearly not using them anymore. And I'm like, I am, actually. So maybe we can just do this. ArgoCD, automatic. You know what, let's do manual for now. And then path, infra. Because it's infra ArgoCD, config map, and YAML. Cluster, this guy, ArgoCD. Create. 2 warnings. Out of sync. What does that mean? We've got some learning to do with how this works. Synchronize. Okay, cool. And now, okay. So now, the reason I did this is because those files, these guys, are present in ArgoCD, but they're not in Traffic UI. So I thought that if ArgoCD could track those files, but in the right context, then it would stop yelling about them being in traffic. And it did. So this, I would call this a good place to stop for today. I think we've done the thing pretty well. We also have 3 new friends in the Discord, which is exciting. Hello, new friends. We do have some problems, so let's document what we've done. Added 3 new services to, let's use their terminology. They call them applications to ArgoCD's management. They are Traffic UI, ArgoCD, and AdGuard Home. Problems remaining. What are our problems remaining? The CLI doesn't work. Like what? Let's poke ChatGPT about that. And if it doesn't come up with a reasonable answer very quickly, then we'll just hang out a little bit longer and then call it. I think. I think that's what we'll do. I'm just gonna grab. let's, how far we got to go before, yeah, let's do this. Where's the last time? ArgoCD. Great. Argo. I'm just going to grab good old ChatGPT and take a look. I really doubt it's going to come up with anything useful, but I don't know. If it does, it's a miracle. I've honestly found that GPT-5 has not been very good. 4.1 was pretty impressive. I am also dealing with more specialized problems now, right? We're talking about Kubernetes in the home, which is a little bit weird. Like ChatGPT is really good at solving problems that are really common, you know? All right, let's try that. Oops. Try that one more time because I mistyped. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree completely. If that still fails, port forward, straight to the service and log in. No, I'm not doing it that way. If you're using traffic, we've already done that. Simplest, keep TLS at traffic, use CLI gRPC web. Then always use this. TLS pass through. So I don't know a lot about gRPC. So that might be one of the problems. I don't know about gRPC. Fastest, gRPC web on the CLI. So I think maybe this might work, but I have no clue. I guess we're just ClickOps people. I don't care enough to fix this. This is working. This is cool. I'm happy. We're just gonna do it like that. Does it have a dark mode? That's of course the most important thing. Oh, good. Now we're okay. Now we're okay. ClickOps people, yeah. We're just ClickOps people, man. I heard somebody say ClickOps, and I lost it. I just find that really funny. We'll have to figure out how to grab its configuration at some point, because right now we have a lot of config. We have a lot of config, like AdGuard Home, ArgoCD. Okay, so we have some config. It's not a lot of config, but we have some config that's not tracked, right? It's application level configuration, the kind of stuff that goes in Etsy, you know? And if I lost these containers, no idea whatsoever where they would go. You know what I mean? And so that's obviously not a good way to run your Homelab, because your containers go down. I'm not sure. I mean, I expect that the default configuration for this thing has a persistent volume claim somewhere, but I didn't configure it because ArgoCD's thing is like the manifest is like 26,000 lines. Or maybe that's just the install. Either way, right? Either way, this is a black box that's waiting to just explode. And that's not chill. At least with AdGuard Home, right? I'm fairly confident. Well, because we deployed the manifest ourselves, right? Like if we just do a little, let me pop this back over here. If we just do this And Michael, I see your question, and I will get right to it. Promise. If we hop over here to our AdGuard thing, this is 100 lines with 2 PVCs, right? Easy to make this right over NFS to the NAS, right? But I don't know how to do the ArgoCD. I don't know where those config files are. I don't know where it's storing state. There's a good way to say it. I'm talking to the wrong camera. There's a good way to say it. When there is state that I don't know how to back up, I get antsy. And currently, I know that I could go into AdGuard Home and get its state in a backupable location, right? We're just going to do NFS PVC stuff, and then we're going to use ZFS to back up state. That's going to be great. And maybe we'll do that in a couple of weeks. We're going to get back to the NAS next week, I think. Now that AdGuard's running, now that Kubernetes is running, now that ArgoCD is running, I'm really happy with the state of Kubernetes. And I want to get Jellyfin running. We're probably not going to run Jellyfin through Kubernetes. We're probably going to do that in a VM. So, anyways, that means that we're going to be doing some ZFS, some NFS, some Samba, all of that jazz real soon, which I'm really looking forward to. I think that'll be a lot of fun. We'll also probably hook the NAS up into our Kubernetes cluster so that we have a good place to put all of our persistent volume claims. Yeah, that's kind of where we're going. Michael, how big is your Homelab currently? My Homelab is modest but growing. Let's take a look. So service-wise, as in what we've got deployed. Ooh, whoops, that was close. There we go. As in what we have deployed, we've got most of it's through Proxmox. So yeah. Oops. So basically, Proxmox is the home. This runs on a little i7 mini PC. It's about 500 Canadian. I bought it because it was the most threads per dollar I could find. And I wanted room to run VMs. So that's where we run our Kubernetes nodes. They're virtual machines running Debian 13. And then we've also got Home Assistant on this guy, which you can see here, which has my Zigbee controller and all of that stuff. And then Kubernetes. So we've got AdGuard Home running on that. And now we have ArgoCD. We also have Traffic, this guy, right? And that's basically the Homelab at the moment, unless you count my workstation, which is this guy, this Linux PC. A lot of plans, though. A lot of plans. I'm really looking forward to playing with OpenSense. I want to build my own router, but that's probably like months down the line. Mostly because I am broke. I'm broke, so, you know. Okay, so there's that. Yeah, and then we've got a NAS as well, which you can poke over here, c/mount, NAST, which is actually, I record and edit YouTube videos over the network now, which I'm really excited about. Right? So we got that going on. So basically, 2 hardware devices, an i7 mini PC and an N100 NAS device. No expensive hard drives. It's like 2 2-terabyte drives that my dad gave me and 2 4-terabyte drives that my dad gave me. and then this workstation. And I've got an N100 mini PC that I run experiments on. That's the deal. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. I'm pretty proud of today. I know I feel like I say that every time, but I'm pretty proud of today. Like we chugged through the misfortune that is ArgoCD's configuration and setup process. Like that was a nightmare. That was a nightmare to figure out. Um, Definitely skill issue. Like if I had known, if I had known better, like maybe, but wait, hold on. Hold on. gRPC. ArgoCD API server runs both a gRPC server used by the CLI as well as HTTP. This is why. This is why. This is what we're missing. Traffic, I think, can't do the gRPC stuff. This is why our CLI doesn't work. Oh, wait, no, look at that. It should. It should. It just doesn't. Okay, man. Okay, dude. Okay. Hold on. We'll do a quick ping to ChatGPT, see what it thinks, and then screw it. I closed it. That's good enough. Okay, everybody. I think that's been the stream. Thank you all so much for coming. Let's do this way. This was fun. I think we made a lot of progress. Plus, thanks again for all of your help. I don't think I would have succeeded without you. Or at least it would have been significantly more frustrating. Yeah, thanks to all the new people for joining the Discord, for participating in the conversation. And thanks for all of the regulars for being regulars. This stream would be really boring without you guys, but it's really fun because you are here. So, catch y'all later. I'll have a new YouTube short out tomorrow and a YouTube video out on Saturday if all goes according to plan. So keep your eyes peeled for that if you're interested in CachyOS and kind of like Linux gaming. Should be fun. Yeah, that's it. Thank you all so much. I'll catch you next week or in the Discord. Bye, everyone.